Hey.
Okay, we're live, I think. Tell us, people, what can you see? Which channel can you see who on?
Like everyone's live? Is it running two
Okay.
two streams
Yep,
at once? We'll see.
This
there's Elmar's, there's ours. All right, cool.
cool.
Elmar,
Hi, all.
take it away.
Okay, let me see. There are too many buttons. This is such a challenge. I love it. My brain is like either gonna explode or gonna grow today. Um, Alrighty, so what are we doing? Apparently we're attempting to stream on both channels at the same time. I am gonna attempt to leave a link to Drinks and Know Things channel. And for those who are not subscribed to them, I don't know what you're doing. Like, I don't know what's wrong with you. Just click that and let's pretend you were not even subscribed. I mean, let's just pretend you were there already, okay? Let's just go like this and we'll be friends forever. So we're gonna do a lovely analysis of a lovely trailer teaser today. But before I just will have an issue with stopping to talk, I'm gonna let others talk today. So we have Ben, we have Luke, and we have Marie. Guys, go for it. Whoever wants to talk first.
Go ahead, Luke.
Yeah, so I'm Luke. I'm one of the hosts of the podcast that Drinks and Knows Things. You can find us on youtube.com/Drinks and Knows Things. And we are a podcast, so check it out. We are going through a full series rewatch with a first-time watcher, and it's been a lot of fun trying to not spoil things.
Yes, and she is not allowed to be here tonight. She was already told you are not allowed to come, so spoilers free. And I'm Ben. I'm another host of Drinks and Those Things. I'm also a co-host of the Citadel Trivia held on Friday nights on YouTube. I'll be hosting this week, so make sure you come and check it out. It's gonna be a fun time. But sit back, grab a couple drinks, and let's get some theories going. Marie, go ahead.
I'm Marie. You can find me at Game of Theories with Marie. Don't really do much there, but some of my theories have come true so far. So check them out if you want to, and you can always catch me on Hangouts. Thanks, Elamar, for inviting me.
My pleasure. And when there's a delay, when you hear me like, okay, why isn't she talking? Because I'm probably not paying attention, or I'm in a chat, or I couldn't find a button. But let's pretend I didn't say I didn't pay attention, because I always pay attention. And if I am not, then there are notes over here. Yeah, I have to do that. My brain is in a dire need of that. But it's such a pleasure to have you guys here every time. Ben, Luke, and Marie. I mean, oh my gosh, Marie. I have to like pinch myself and just like, I don't know, I should, instead of this beer, I should have champagne, because I haven't streamed with you forever and I missed you, and I was having withdrawals, okay? I was having withdrawals. Um, Quick note for everybody who like if I'm gonna attempt to chat on both chats, this is gonna be sick.
It's gonna be difficult.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try to. Hopefully
I'm
I
right
won't be
there with you.
stream, but I'm gonna try to do both. So if you're like saying, "Hey, Lamar," and I'm like silence, it's not like I don't like you. I don't think I don't like you.
I don't think that I don't like you.
I don't know. I think I like you, but it's because I'm on the wrong chat. So yell at me somewhere if you like. Why aren't you talking to me?
Yeah,
Like,
please,
I don't
please
know.
at me.
At least I can see you. And if I'm not, not that you want, like, who won't? Anyway, if you're talking to somebody and somebody's not responding to you, check the other stream. By the way, subscribe to them. Oh, yeah. So, where do we want to begin? Anybody wants to say something before, or can we just jump into this loveliness?
I think let's just jump into it. One thing to note, I know we kind of touched on it already, but we are broadcasting on 2 different channels at once, so it's kind of a test run. Sorry if things are a bit choppy. We appreciate you being here on whichever channel you are on.
Yeah, and as Bridge says, because if you have both channels open, thank you, we love you for it. But you might want to mute one because you'll just probably hear it echo. So,
but be sure to subscribe to both channels, like on both channels, and we're glad you're here with us.
yes.
I was really excited about this teaser trailer. I was actually in the Westerosi Ninja live chat along with the dog show, and OTDA drops in with, there's a teaser that dropped, and I was like, oh, well, their views about to go down for a few minutes.
just for a little bit, right? But we're so used to multitasking in life, like multi-life. Like, oh my God. Like, I'm sure all of you, the time that people have on streams, it's like we're all friends. We all either want to be in the chat or we're streaming, or sometimes we forget we're streaming because we're in a chat, like, oh wait, I was supposed to say something, darn it. And I'm like, oh wait, it's my stream, shoot. So
I set the rules
we're
around here. It's all good.
yeah. So we're multi everything here, and that way we can do both channels. And but by the way, I want to say thank you to Luke for suggesting that. I was sitting through lunch today, eating my whatever I was eating, and he's like, "What about whatever something something?" I can't even pronounce that thing. Plus,
Simul stream?
yeah.
And you were like,
And
I don't know what the hell that means.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, are you either joking or you're serious? Like, which is it? I'm like, he's gonna always joking. He's like, no, I'm like, what the okay, well, let's do that then. Fancy. Okay. Anyway,
Yeah, this is something we've been wanting to try to test out with a couple different streamers and stuff. So it seemed like a good option for this one. Yeah, see how well this how much we screw this one up.
and I just wanted to say, actually, I'm typing it right now. I said, hello, my lovelies. I see you all. It's not like I'm watching you, but I just wanted to say hello. I see you all, and I can't type fast enough. I'm so happy that you're all here. And if somebody wants to attempt shout outs, go ahead. I can't handle it. It's
Yeah.
been a long day, but
Yeah,
I
I'll
do
start
all
on
thank
I'll
you.
start on your chat. We got CD, Colonel's Doomsday, Sean Gordon, Fernandez T, Game of Theories with Marie, Amanda Duncan, Chrissy of Old Stones, the Link Bringer, the Queen of Trivia, Sam R09, Phil H, the Dog Show, me, Branwick Blackwood, Smokahontas, Otilla Angel, Terry T, and I think that's about it on your channel. On our channel, oh, and Kev Bridge 4, obviously he's in there, he's on our channel as well. We got Phil H over there, OTDA over in our channel, Bobby Catalano, Otilla Angel, and the dog will hunt,
Dog Will Hunt and the Dog Show.
and the dog
And
show.
Phil
Yes.
H. And I thought there was one more earlier. Oh, I think that might be it. But welcome, everybody.
Yes, thank you guys.
Welcome. And this is how multi-thing is done. And right now we're seeing both, which is amazing. So we have what? It's minute 50 something, right? And
Yeah.
so much to talk about. I mean, we have already. I wish I could have, attended all other streams, but at work, I'm trying to sneak in and do that. Couldn't do that. But we're here, so we can talk. So now I can talk, and I can read your comments, and hopefully, just a hint. And I'm sure creators, those who are streaming, what do we call ourselves? Whatever. Those who are doing the stream, we can see best if you actually at us. If you do not at us, it gets lost sometimes. So if it's something you want us to read, for sure, at us. Just a hint. That's easier to basically find our name because it's highlighted in red. But besides that, minute 50 something, right? I'm gonna ask maybe ladies first. I'm gonna ask Marie. Marie, what are your first impressions? Like, what were you, besides dropping off of one of the streams that we were watching for like a minute 40? I'm assuming. What was your first reaction when you saw it? Like, what are the general things you want to talk about?
Well, first I was in the stream with Ben, I think, and then Bran dropped it into the Game Bangers, and so I think Milton Dog must have seen a max exodus of people as we all ran to look at the thing. My thing was, thank God we've got a decent, because I got tired of these snippets of old clips from season 1 to season 7, and I wanted an actual trailer. So it's not really a trailer, it's a symbolic trailer, but still it's better than nothing. So I was really happy, and especially with my favorite family, the Starks.
The Starks.
The Starks.
Ben and Luke.
Go for it, Bench.
Well, so just the very first 2 seconds, just that cold HBO, you hear the music build, that slow hum coming in, and then John's back in the crypts, and you're like, okay, here we go. And he's looking a bit older, bit more ragged. I've heard some theories that this may have been shot well after filming because his beard looks a bit different than even stuff he's done, and so they could have gone back and done this. Which, if they did, it's beautifully done. Uh, but yeah, it's just that nice, slow, ominous feel of you see John just walking down, and you start to just slightly hear. Is this when Eddard's talking? I think there's a few
That's
seconds of him just walking. Yeah,
and Eddard's actually his is quite a bit later.
yeah.
Yeah. He's the
Rihanna
last
talks
tattoo,
first.
I think.
Yeah, initial reaction for me is, holy shit, we're in the Crypts of Winterfell. This is like what, in my opinion, what everything's been leading to for the RL plus J. I mean, there's so many references in the books to John's dreams of, hey, you're gonna have to go down in the crypts and have that be a big contributor to figuring out who you are, and I was really excited that they decided to do it this way. I'm sure we'll get into this a little bit. I don't know if this confirms or sets exactly when he's going to find out the information that we all know of his true parentage, but I like a lot of things here that we'll touch on as well. I'm
Mhm.
very, very excited about this.
That's awesome. I was when I actually saw it, I was wondering, okay, if it's going to be a couple of seconds, how long is it going to be? But then, like as they were, as we were hearing them say stuff, like there were no characters talking, and it was just voices talking. I was like, ooh, okay. I wanted more, but I got this, but it's good because I got something. So it was mixed emotions for me. Obviously, I was like hyped like crazy, but then maybe the expectations of it were so huge versus what we got, but then like we're still here and we're loving it. And it's a good um kind of like preview, I would say. They didn't give us exactly what, maybe because I still think that this is not, this is not what's going to be in the show. It's just kind of like whatever you want to call it. I called it in my video that I made, I think I called it a vision or whatever I called it. But
Yeah,
it's kind of a good thing too that we didn't get like footage, because it would be like without teasing us. It was like, there it is, that's it, versus tease us a little bit and then give us whatever we want. So
yeah. So like a cinematic or theatrical trailer is going to have clips from the show itself or the film, but in this case it's a teaser trailer, which just means this is kind of pulling some symbolism of overall overarching ideas that are going to happen, a lot like the Long Walk teaser trailer from season 7, where we had Cersei and Jon and Dany kind of all walking to their own thrones. None of those scenes happen in the show, but it shows you an overall theme that's going to kind of take place in that season.
exactly.
Yeah. And so on to the next shot, Luke. He passes Lyanna and her wolf and knocks the feather down that Robert had placed there in episode 1. So I have my own theories on what that feather represents, especially in this trailer, teaser, whatever. But I like that touch because we did get the confirmation last year that yes, she is his mother. Yes, he's legitimized and everything like that. And for him to walk past and kind of get the feel for her without even realizing it at this point, I like that touch.
Yep. Marie, any thoughts on that? The feather. Before we started the stream, before we even attempted this, again, for those who are joining us, this is look. What is it again?
A simul stream.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's here and it's there. It's like we're in two places. Not like we are in two places at the same time. So those who are new, go over there. And I did leave, um, drop the link. I'll do it again. But I lost the train of thought. Oh my gosh. Never mind.
Okay.
I was saying something brilliant.
About the
Believe
feather.
me.
You're about to touch on the
Thank
feather, I
you.
believe.
I told you it was brilliant.
I know. I
Thank
was
you.
waiting for it. Bated breath
I
over here.
know. Thank you. But what about it? I'm just kidding. No. Marie, you were saying that you were doing some research on it. Were you actually able to finish that research, or you were just teasing us that you did research? I'm sorry if I put you on the spot.
No, that's fine. Now, to be honest, the first thing I noticed when I watched it was that they were all seemed to be walking in separate tunnels. And the line that came to me was different roads can sometimes lead to the same castle from the books. So that came to me first. But when the feathers,
Nice.
I kind of obsess about that feather. And
Oh,
I
the
looked it
pretty
up.
feather.
And in the Bible, feathers seem to speak of the idea of covering, of protection, and of God's loving care. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. The royal family uses feathers in their sigils. Prince of Wales to this day has 3 feathers. The Black Prince, son of Edward III, had feathers, and Henry IV also used a single feather with a motto called "My Sovereign." So to me, feathers have also been used throughout the ages, but also it's kind of also in mysticism, like angel kind of language. I'm not much into angel kind of language where they use feathers for different things. And also I think in Indian culture, feathers can be used to represent different symbols and stuff there, but I kind of stuck with the whole royalty thing because I kind of think it symbolizes John's royalty. But I also think Ben came up with a good idea we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I'll kind of go into it now just to kind of get it knocked out if you'd like. My theory is, and I hate it, but basically this is the end of the Baratheon line. This is basically the feather left by Robert for Lyanna, and I'm taking it as a subtle hint that Gendry might get frozen. And so we actually have the full end of the Baratheon line since the feather in and of itself gets frozen towards the end of the video here.
I was
So
wondering, what do you mean by that? Because I didn't can't even talk. Shoot, I didn't get a chance to ask you. What do you mean frozen? Like just because it's floating away because Robert left it there and because it's falling down, that's why it's
no,
the end of
no,
the line?
it gets like when the ice comes toward the icy
Oh,
chill,
that's
the
right.
feather actually freezes. So
Mhm.
I'm reading that as the last surviving Baratheon is frozen or turned into a White Walker.
Okay,
So
that makes sense again. Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I hope I'm wrong. I could be very well wrong. I just have a feeling
Yeah,
just
I don't
from
want
that.
him to die.
But there's also the symbolic of the stag dying at the
Yeah,
very beginning of Game of Thrones.
Mm.
exactly. So I don't think
For
the Baratheon line makes it out now.
Baratheon line, and especially show because they don't apparently all the bastards are supposed to be um dead at this point. Well, minus Gendry.
Legitimate.
Yeah, exactly. And then for me, I think that what I did, and that was like I did that video. I made that video really late at night. So I don't even know what I was saying over there. But I think what I said in it was it signified the feather for me. It signified a bird, birds that are kept in cages, basically. And so like Sansa and bird in cages, and then secrets are locked as well. So when you lock a secret, it's locked. And then when a feather falls, to me it meant that basically it's like the bird is free, and then the promise to keep it a secret is basically not that you don't have to keep that promise anymore. So somebody somehow will let him know. That was just my take on it.
Yeah, I liked the Marie, I liked your points on the royal plumage type idea, that motif of hey, it symbolizes his royal blood. I also there's more symbolism, and I sorry if you did mention this one for feathers in like Egyptian mythology, symbolizing truth. So it's kind of a purity and truth type symbol as well in certain cultures, and so I think that also plays a part of this because clearly the truth is what he's going down to find out or already knew and looking for confirmation. So I think there's some motifs in there of that as well. And as we'll get to later, it all freezes over. So that's potentially telling, but we'll see.
And then the colors on it too. When I zoomed in on it later, it had some red on it, like in the middle. It was like spotted, but then there was a line of red in it. So again, colors of blue and red signifying fire and ice. So that was a nice touch. They could have put more green, but they didn't. They did the contrast. They didn't have to. So that red, I think, was there just for somebody like me to be like, ooh, color.
Hey, it looks
Oh,
like blood.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Gore. Yeah. Chrissy, cheers. That's our keyword here for that. Any more thoughts on this first? Not first. This what we're talking about right now.
Also, when John is passing by Lyanna's statue and he hears, kind of turns as if he hears something. I always think that's Bran, because Blood Raven, I don't think is able to pass that sound limit. I think he can talk through birds, and he does in the books when he talks to try to connect with John through birds. But I don't think Blood Raven can break the sound barrier. But Bran can actually communicate with people from the future. So whenever it kind of reminded me of the Tower of Joy when Ned turns when he thinks he hears Bran. So when John turned, I'm thinking, well, as Bran, because what came to me first too was Bran's not there. I was waiting for Bran to start being wheeled down a tunnel, but he wasn't there. So I'm thinking, is Bran whispering to John at that moment?
Very good. I was wondering about that too, and especially because when a feather falls, you just, we see it like kind of like floating, and it just kind of lands. And he turned around like as if he heard like a whisper, so not like a big boom, but something. And he's turning like, wait a minute, exactly like his uncle, not his father, but his uncle, Ned had turned around. So it must be there for a reason. They wouldn't do that just to do it unless they want to troll us, which I don't think so this time. Yeah. Next one maybe, and I'm saying next one. And by the way, thank you so much for doing these. I don't OBS. Is that even a thing to call it that? Apparently it is, because I just said it. So thank you for the pictures, and I'll be quiet so we can see them.
So the next one, we flip to Sansa walking up as well, and a lot of fire, around her and everything. It looks, dungeony, but it looks warmer than it is later on. I don't know if that's telling it all. And she walks past a statue of Catelyn Stark, who kind of goes through her line of, all the horror my family's been through, which she had said to Talisa, or well known as Girl from Show. And then goes on to say, and I couldn't love a motherless child.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's one that, it's because again, it could be harkening back from just to give us a reminder of what the family went through, or is this some sort of hey, keep an eye on this, because who knows, Sansa may have to learn to love a motherless child, or something along those lines, based on other, theories that are out there. So it's I do like her look. She definitely has that Queen of the North kind of look about her as she's starting her stroll. So it's just that's kind of all I got on that. So never mind.
No, that's
Marie?
great. I just wanted to quickly mention that is awesome. I don't know if you thought about the whole, or if you heard it somewhere, but I haven't been in streams much, but I have not heard that one about the motherless child and it relating to Sansa. It kind of right away when you said it like, baby Daenerys, John, Sansa, baby, mommy.
Yeah, I've heard that theory of Sansa being the one to raise bastard
Yeah.
Targaryen, whatever. Just so it's one of
Wow.
those. So yeah, hearing that line from Kat made my brain kind of jump to that issue.
Perfect. Marie?
First, just a little nitpicky thing. A lot of people are saying Sansa's copying Daenerys' hairstyle. I actually think she's copying her mother. If you go back to the first season, Caitlin kind of wears her hair a little bit like that. But also, I wish with that sentence they had continued the full passage, which I noted down. Maester Lewin said if he, John, made it through the night, it would be a very long night. All this horror has come to my family, and all because I could not love a motherless boy. It's just the whole long night that is in that passage. And I kind of didn't refer to that in that sentence, but I thought there's more to this than just I couldn't love a motherless boy. The long night is messages John survived that night, and it would be a long night. So I kind of connected those two together.
In the chat right now, in the not the chat on my channel, and also comment, I caught something about the statues not being not they should not be there. Um, since we're talking about this, and you can continue, but did you mention something about that too?
Yeah, so the statues that are down here in the Winterfell crypts should only really be the kings of winter. That's or the head of house male line is typically the only ones that are down there that have statues, and these are being portrayed a little bit differently than they are in the books. In the books, they're all sitting down with an iron sword across their laps and a direwolf by their feet. So none of that is really coming into play. So I think we're supposed to just assume it's different than what's described in the books, which is fine. And
But
the
also,
only
I think it's just they're using it symbolically. They're just kind of using the thought process that we all can relate to. They're not you saying, "Hey, this is the cat's actually down there." The only one that's not part of that Luke was talking about though is Lyanna, because we know Ned did it out of respect for her and out of love for her.
and because she had royal blood because she married the
She's a
king.
queen.
So I think that's a big part of it as well. Even though he can't say that out loud, she technically was the queen from
That's fair.
Winterfell.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah. And again, keeping with the fact that this is, I'm saying fact as if it's a fact, I don't know, but that this is not footage from what's gonna happen. And again, kind of relating to what I did in video, the quick video that I had is it's like it's them being in a crypt, it's them facing their death, or not maybe death, like looking death in the eye, and kind of facing their fears. You don't have to die, but you can look death in the eye and be okay. But realizing, that they're gonna be in a very dangerous situation, and just to kind of be fine with it, and how they're gonna channel that, if they're gonna be actually um, afraid. They look shocked. They look shocked to me, but they did not look terrified. I think I said um, Arya was kind of like, "Oh, okay," like, "Wow, ooh," kind of thing. Sansa was more scared, and Jon was like complete, like, "What the fudge?" Like he was completely. He was. If I had to put only fear, if that was the only scale I had, I would say Jon was the most scared. Although he didn't look scared, he just looked shocked to me. But his expression was the biggest. What are
Well,
your thoughts on that too?
yeah, kind of with that one. Sorry
Mhm.
to jump in. Uh, the one thing I took away that a lot of people were talking about over on the Reddit threads and everything was basically like Sansa's look kind of like Sansa. Arya's kind of looked like Arya's. Jon looked like he was 40 or 50 years old.
Mm.
It looked significantly older, and so I think that could have been one of the what the fuck moments kind of things too.
Mhm.
Is wait, I'm actually gonna live, possibly thing.
Yep.
Compared to the other two.
Exactly, like, 'cause, they, I think I post like, when I was in the stream, like, trying to quickly type something because I wanted to be part of whatever was going on. I said, "Yeah, maybe, they're gonna die younger and he's gonna live longer." Do you think that would they be, I shouldn't say smart enough, because that's saying that I'm thinking that they're not smart enough for that. But do you think that they would, based on what they already have done, the showrunners and people who are in charge of that, would they actually be that clever to do that? What are the chances for that happening? Or is it just like, oopsie, we basically made the statue and this is how it came out? What do
They
you
made the
think?
Matt Damon statue for John. Matt Damon. Sorry, if nobody gets
No,
that world police reference.
I did not, but
Okay, yeah, that's all right.
sorry.
No, that's all right. People in chat, I'm sure will.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. Luke, Marie.
Um, I was a little disappointed with Arya because I have to admit, when it showed the other two, I thought, oh, now we're going to see a statue of Rob. And then there was no statue at all with Arya, which I found quite odd. And that might be mirroring her journey. But I was much preferring to see, even though Caitlin was there, and I think those words will be important, I was disappointed not to see a statue of Rob. I wanted the first king
Wow.
of the North there.
I'm wondering, like, why would you, like, just because he died and he should be there, right?
Well,
That
he was the king
that
of the North, yeah.
should be there. Okay.
Whereas Catelyn was Ned's wife, but she wasn't a queen.
Sure.
I can understand Lyanna being there because she was queen to Rhaegar,
Mhm.
even though the Seven Kingdoms don't know it, she actually died a queen.
Mm. Yeah.
I was just surprised that Arya walked past no statues, but maybe that's just her journey, and that she's been the one that's truly kind of walked alone in this kind of bravos, faceless men kind of journey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did get the feel from Arya's walk. Like the back shot of it, I didn't get a good picture of that one, but even the front shot of her, just kind of standing there, or as she's coming down, it's all solid. There's no statues, no nothing, and I got the faceless man, style, just feel from her hallway. It felt a little different. It felt a little more candly, kind of the same feel I got from the Hall of Faces for
More
her.
darker. Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
More
yeah, like
dark.
a little darker, but it's darker, but there's more candles. If that makes any sense,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
the other twos are better lit. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this I see what you're saying. It's I had the same thought, like where's Rob? But it wouldn't make sense for Arya to
Mm-hmm.
walk past him. The other two, it
Mm.
kind of made sense.
Yeah, I think one
Also,
of the
sorry.
oh go for it.
I was just going to say here that Arya was the first one to turn her fate, because to me the statues don't mean they're going to die. It's just symbolic. And to me, Arya was the first to turn her face, basically to confront her fate, followed by Sansa and then Jon. And as you said before, Jon looked the most shocked.
Mm-hmm. And
And
yeah,
I
exactly.
don't think it was a crappy statue of Jon. I actually do think they deliberately made it to look old. They sometimes Dan and Dave do give clues, like the whole R plus L equals J. I think that was way back in the first season. Do you remember that written on the post? And Jon was standing beneath it.
Yes.
So they do
Mm-hmm.
give
Yeah.
Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the one with Sam, and yeah. And Luke, you were saying?
Yeah, so I think one of the overall themes that I get from this whole trailer is there are many parallels that are made. There's a lot of parallel, especially with the statues that they walk past. There's a lot of parallels with Sansa being Cat, and how she shunned Jon growing up, and they've reconciled that over time now. And we on Drinks and Those Things actually just went through those episodes where they are finally reunited back at Winterfell, and Jon is, I think, pretty clearly paralleling a lot of Ned Stark here, with the potentially hearing a Bran whisper, as you guys pointed out, and obviously walking past the statue, and a lot of this really is about Jon. But there's also parallels that, Arya walks through her little barrel vault here, which maybe she just likes architecture a little bit more and appreciates the barrel vault, and so she took that route. But who am I to say? But she did kind of do this on her own with support that varied, but it wasn't really from within the family because she's been so forced away from everything. She's been so forced away that she has to come back on her own, and she has done that. And I think that is potentially what they're trying to get to. And I know when I first watched this and I saw the statues, like, yeah, it's pretty clearly supposed to parallel these three characters. But my initial reaction was, that's not really them though. I was like, who are these three Stark ancestors that would be here? And I mean, we don't have enough that a threesome of characters like this in Stark ancestry would make a lot of sense. But like initially, I was like, oh, I wonder if these are some of the she-wolves of Winterfell, which is a George R. R. Martin book that we've been waiting for a while now as well. And then we keep referencing how old Jon looks, and it makes me think, okay, well, he looks a little bit more like one of the true kings of winter should look. And so I don't think it's really going to go that way. That was just my initial take, that I was like, it seemed a little short for me to just have it be them. I was like, there's got to be. I was trying to connect a little bit deeper, and I still don't know if there's anything there.
I
Mary?
just kind of think they're sorry, Leila.
I was so I was going to say, like, I wanted to mention your comment that you wrote. I think it's somewhere. I saw you writing it about the sister wives. Was it for Ares or Aegon? Somebody.
Oh,
What?
the Aegon and his two
Somebody
sisters,
mentioned
Rhaenys
that.
and
I think.
Visenya.
Yeah. Yeah. They looked really. I think it was you. Somebody. I again very blurry night, so I can't remember much what happened. But somebody wrote somewhere that it reminded them of don't quote me. Somebody starting with A.
Yeah, Aegon and Visenya and Rhaenys.
Yeah, and they look powerful. One is more um, gentle looking. The other one more powerful. So that was a good reference, I thought. But Marie, please go ahead. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, to me, the statues kind of symbolise that they're all facing death, but it doesn't actually mean that they're going to die. I think a lot of people think because Sansa statue and Arya statues looked about the same age, that means the pack's not going to survive, that Arya and Sansa are going to die, and that only Jon is going to survive. I think no, they're all just looking and facing their fates. And I think it was Jon that drew his sword first, and then Arya, and of course Sansa's still got no damn sword. But what came to me when I watched that was Protect Your Queen. For some reason, that just popped into my head. Protect Your Queen, like Daenerys at the pit with when she was surrounded by the harpies.
Yep.
Everyone was yelling, "Protect your queen, protect your queen." So that's popped into my head. I don't know why, but I do hope Sansa becomes queen. I hope she survives. But that's to me what the statue symbolises. They were just turning and looking at their fates and confronting it, and so we can do this.
Yeah,
No,
I agree with that.
Absolutely. And my thought on the Arya part with the statues, her not having one, looking back and listening to what you guys were talking about, I would have loved instead of John and what they used for John from Ned, the voiceover, it was very fitting and it works. But I kind of would have liked her to pass the Ned statue and have him reiterate when the lone pack, the lone wolf or the pack survives when the lone wolf dies, to kind of re-symbolize her, rejoining her pack and everything like that. I know where they were going with, or I get a feeling of where they're going with giving John the, hey, you are a Stark, and even though you're half Targaryen, you're still a Stark kind of line. But I just think about it after listening to you guys, it's like, yeah, I kind of would like to have that Arya voiceover from Ned reminding her about the pack.
And I think Sam here, Sam R09 mentioned that. I have a note here to remind myself to mention it, that something Arya rejoining, kind of like rejoining the pack exactly. So, but kind of going back to Sansa, I mean, she doesn't need a sword. Not everybody has to, like, there's nothing wrong with just being a lady. There's nothing wrong with Arya being different kind of lady. So just because Arya is empowered that way doesn't mean that Sansa isn't in the other way. Like she can have people do stuff for her, whereas somebody else, let's say, wouldn't have that power or influence. She has people who've done things for her already. She had um, Arya who killed or executed Littlefinger, and she herself executed in a way her late husband didn't even touch him, but he was still dead, like more than dead. Like that's a lovely death for him. So she can do stuff. She has some power. I don't know what that power would give her fighting. Like you
No,
next
I
to me,
agree.
kill the
Good
guy in
point.
front of me.
Because it's a good point because Dany's never actually held a sword either.
Yeah, and she's so powerful too. Like we have two or three powerful women. We have Cersei too. Let's not forget about her. And I don't think she actually did. She please remind me. Did she actually do something herself, or she just had Mountain do it? The Mountain and other people. She just pointed like, okay, this one, that one, that one. We're good.
Yeah, I don't think she's ever wielded any kind of weapon herself. And
Yeah.
like you were saying, and I think we've all touched on it a bit. When you see this trio, you see, Jon and Arya standing up front, weapons drawn. And yeah, I mean, Sansa's kind of hanging back, but that is her place. Her place, I'm not saying it's supposed to be behind people, but it's the strategist, right? I mean, that's what she's here for. And I think a lot of what we're going to get in season 8 is going to justify some of the tension that was between Jon and Sansa in some of their Winterfell scenes in season 7. A lot of it was a little bit confusing, but I think we're going to see how it pans out in season 8. It's going to make a lot of sense that she's going to become the Lady of Winterfell and remain that. I mean, that's just going to be her spot because Jon's not going to be at Winterfell after this season.
Since we're talking about that, what are your thoughts on it? Lady of Winterfell or Lady of more stuff?
Lady of Winterfell. That's my thought.
Yeah, Lady of Winterfell, Wilderness of the North.
Okay.
I'm calling her Tyrion, at least show-wise.
Marie and Luke?
Oh, I always thought she would be queen. Now, whether the kingdoms are split up, I imagine actually a grand council to be held, much like Bloodraven did when he called a grand council to elect a new king. And I thought this would follow history, and there would be a grand council called, and they would elect a new king, and that John would be for that because he kind of admired Mance Rayder's way of doing things. I kind of think I can see John wanting to change the system because it's broken. I mean, the Targaryens, John is with Daenerys, but let's face it, you flip a coin with that family. And what I got from this too was that John is kind of really embracing his Starkishness, but there's not much Targaryenism unless you look at the torch he's holding, and that's very kind of like very fiery, and it's all in front of his face, and it's kind of like what came to me there was Son of Fire. But that's the only kind of Targaryen bit you get in this whole thing. He comes across as very more Starkish than the Starks
Mm-hmm.
to me.
I mean, he is. I mean, he is just so, well, like Ned, too much. Like
Yeah.
he's so honorable, but I think he can still. I think I mentioned it a long time, well, a while ago, that he is very honorable, but he will still lie. Like, if he needs to lie, he will lie. I see him lying. Like I see him being more flexible, more, because like what happens when steel gets too cold? It's brittle, right? It can snap. I think John is both um strong but also flexible at the same time. He will not break. He will just basically bend, like he kind of bent his knee. Um but then he does whatever needs to be done to survive. So that's a lot of uh, interesting things will happen. Let's just say this way, because he says he will not do. I don't see John doing bad things because he's good, but then at the same time I want him to do bad things, like to go against what he always thought was right and whatnot, because that's how we see that they are tested, I think.
Yeah. And really quick, Dragna in the chat brought up a good point. You guys were talking about Cersei not actually having wielded a sword. She actually did use poison against the Dornish, Avara,
Right.
or so
Ilaria.
Ilaria. Thank you. Yeah,
Oh,
and I
herself, okay.
and also I said she did her other weapon of choice would be a well because she did shove her friend down the well.
That's
So
true.
yeah,
See you, pal.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, true. True. Let's not walk near Cersei when there are wells or cliffs around, because she will. Yeah, you look
Or
like danger. Boom.
or wine because she'll just blow
Oh,
your ass over.
good thing this is beer. I don't drink wine, so I'm safe. I'm kind of safe. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on this
So
part right here?
So a couple things that were popping up in the chat, too, the chat rooms and stuff. I was looking last night. They're like, how good is Needle gonna be against the White Walkers? She turns and pulls Needle. And we understand that's her sword, but she does have the Valyrian steel dagger. But it made me think we have Brianna Tarth there at Winterfell now. She is carrying Oathkeeper, a piece of ice, and she sees how good Arya is. I can possibly guess that Arya gets her hands on Oathkeeper, on remnants of her father's story. I don't think we're going to get Widow's Wail, brought back. That's not coming north at all. But I think since Oathkeeper is already there, that she could get it. Or actually, Jamie might bring
I was
Widow's
gonna
Wail.
say
'Cause he might have,
Jamie might be able to get his hands on Widow's Wail.
he may have taken it. So there's a good possibility that he could pass it along as well. So I do see her ending up with one of the two swords.
I
Mhm.
don't.
You don't?
I don't. It's not her style. And she literally has the weapons that are exactly her style, and she's worked so long to get them. The
Fair.
dagger's all she's gonna need. The needle is, yeah, symbolically hers. It represents who she is, but the dagger fits her fighting style. As we saw when she takes on Brienne in the yard, she does quite okay with just
Did she use Needle with that?
She uses the dagger.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You're right. Okay, good. No, and fair points. Yeah, completely fair points. It's one.
The sword, Oathkeeper, or Widow's Wail are very big for her, and it's
True.
literally just a logistics thing of she would rather have her own comfortable, like rogue style weapons as opposed to a long sword.
Wasn't Widow's Wail a bastard's blade?
No, Oathkeeper was the longer one.
Yeah, I know. So Widow's Wail was the Widow's.
Bastard blade is 1.5 hand. It's larger.
Okay.
It's in between longsword and greatsword.
Gotcha. Okay, sorry.
Good knowledge. But like somebody mentioned here something about Arya taking somebody's face. And actually Sam mentions on tricking the Night King, but speaking of Arya and how, you know, what kind of sword she could use for her hide, there's always that idea, like what kind of person can she assume to be, like, if, you know, I'm assuming it's kind of all magic. It doesn't, you know, like just because she's tiny, she's not going to be like a tiny mountain versus, you know, mountain or whoever she gets the face from. But the idea behind the steel that they're using in those swords, I mean, when you either cut the whoever, the White Walker or the White, or even the Night, well, let's not even go to the, you know, to the Night King, but like, would the cut do something to them? Would they have to like hit them in the right spot? Will any part them touching, like, is it like burning them? Always wondered about that. So I wonder how useful, like you said, or effective would needle be at that moment. Because I don't think it can kill somebody by stabbing them, but I don't think it can cut something off. Can it? What do you think?
Talking needle.
Yeah, needle. Like,
Sorry,
how?
it was in the chat. I mean, yeah, needle's more of the point. It's more the
Stabby,
fencing
stabby.
style.
Yeah.
It's the fencing foil. So yeah, stabby, stabby,
Mhm.
stick 'em with the pointy
Stabby.
end. So yeah, it's not a slasher. It can defend. It's strong enough to defend a blow or to graze a blow off, but it's not going to slice. There's no edge on the ends.
Mhm. Okay.
I do predict it. We'll see her wielding both consistently with
Yeah.
needle left hand, dragon hilt, Valyrian dagger right hand.
Mhm.
And that's really, you could use that as a defensive weapon pretty well too. That dagger.
Which she
The
did. That
female
was the
version
one
of
with
Arthur
Brienne,
Dane.
right? Yeah. So kind of like what she was practicing with Brienne.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. And that would suit her more, like you said, like that version of Arthur Dane style kind of fighting. I mean, Arya with two swords, with two needles, or sword and a needle, would be kind of odd, but that was wicked, whatever she was doing with Brienne, and just practicing it, and to see it actually unfold in real combat, in a real situation, would be really nice. Although we already saw it, so it's like, oh, she did that the other time, but you know, still, I'm sure they would know how to do that to make it good and effective. Any more thoughts on this clip that we had? And again, thank you so much for providing those visual aid for somebody who needs visual aid.
So this is right when the cold winds are be arisen, if you will, right? So we've got the torch goes out, we've got the cold mist coming in. We see the feather is freezing over. I think we had a picture of it. Right here is a picture of that freezing over. So I think this is supposed to show that, yeah, winter is coming for Winterfell, right? So what are your guys' thoughts on Winterfell's survival rate this season?
I would say Winterfell. What? That would be my reaction. What? Well, what's that place again?
Right.
For what? Go ahead, guys.
I kind of like, I've watched it and I kind of saw the mist drawing closer as it encircles them. It seemed to me like an eye, especially at the end, like they're in the eye of a storm, which is about to engulf them all. And also, what also came to me too is Duncan Egg. It was rumored that Blood Raven could turn himself into a mist, and I just wondered, is Bran able to do this? There's got to be a reason why Bran's not there, and I really don't know why. I know that this whole Bran is the Night King theory is out there too. I just didn't want to believe that. There's got to be a reason why he is not there. Perhaps, like as I said, Jon seems more Stark than the Starks, and Bran's disappeared. So I just wondered if could he be the mist? As Blood Raven could change himself into a mist. Perhaps you guys know, or Ilamara.
I'm gonna let others talk because I don't know. I want to hear your opinions too. But I have my. But go ahead, Ben and Luke.
So my only thought on it is the Crypts of Winterfell aren't really OSHA certified. So, Bran making it down there, it makes it a little tough without a Hodor or somebody to carry him. But no, I have no really theory on it. Just making a joke there. Go ahead, Luke. I know you got something.
And you made the wrong reference anyway. It would be ADA compliance. let's be clear on this. OSHA
I know.
is
Oh
I
my
know.
God.
Anyway.
I'm dying here.
So yeah, I think the mist could be used to symbolize Bran here, and yeah, it really does kind of. I think almost throw a little fuel onto the Bran is Night King fire, which I don't subscribe to, but you could easily say that, hey, Bran was there because it looks like the Night King's walking down the hall as well. Because we've seen how, the White Walkers, or from the books, the others, bring the cold. It's unclear as to if the cold brings them or if they bring the cold. And I don't know. Bran's my favorite character. I wish he was there. But I don't like the idea of him being Night's King. And I think this is really just kind of showing, at least in my perspective, it's just showing that, yeah, the White Walkers are here, and it's the battle's being brought to Winterfell. And whether or not that cuts certain information off from happening for Jon or not, I still think Jon's going to get the information like right away. It's going to be in episode 1 that he's going to be told by Jon and Bran, and it's just going to be, okay, let's deal with the fallout right away. But I don't know. I like the cold mists rising here. I think it's a really, really cool visual that we've seen, and is pretty ominous for sure. Especially when the lights go out, who's standing by your side, and there's a pretty strong team right here, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. It just reminded me of last year's when they had everyone in the Night King's eyeball, and I just thought that mist was closing in like an eyeball.
Mm-hmm.
Like something's watching them, something that didn't like them and was coming for them.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, I'm sorry, Marie. I'm just kind of looking at what you're talking about with the eye. If you kind of look around here, I'll screen share really quick, just so I can kind of point out what I'm talking about or what I'm agreeing with you on. Like back here around the statues, I can see where you can see that eye shape. You got the iris there, and the pupil in the alcove. So I can absolutely see what you're talking about in with the eye reference.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool. I didn't notice that. Really nice. And then somebody here in the chat wrote something about Bran not being able to get there to be carried down, and I think somebody either wrote it or that was kind of what I thought about that. That he actually doesn't even need to be anywhere. He can just sit, by the fireplace and just close his eyes and like, oh, you look beautiful over there eating that dinner. He doesn't even have to attend the meeting. Like I'll connect with you. I'll just sit here. You do there, and now I'm everywhere at the same time. I don't need to be anywhere. But no, that's it. That's obviously just a joke about that. But for Bran and the whole mist thing, again, I think I put that in the video, where, and that's not my theory at all or anything, because Night Night King, whatever he's called, people keep saying that he's a Stark, he may be Stark and something else, but I think I said something like, "Oh yeah, they thought they're gonna be safe in the crypts." No way, because it's for Starks, and who is the Night King? It's Stark. So welcome, doors are opening, and he can get there. It's not like they're gonna not let him through, even if something was supposed to stop the Night King from going inside there. How can he be stopped if he's a Stark? So,
I think
yeah.
too, the tunnels might be there too to reference, because they've been referenced twice, and this could be the third. Where I think Maester Lewin spoke of a secret tunnel for Theon to escape, and then Mel speaks of you to Jon, where all the tunnels are in Winterfell, when she was trying to coerce him into following Stannis, and he didn't. So it's been mentioned twice, and now they're in the tunnel. So I kind of think that Winterfell's going to fall. It is called Winterfell. It will be rebuilt, I'm sure, but I think it is going to fall. You just can't beat them. I mean, honestly, you just can't beat them. And I just think that's where they're going to go run to escape, is in the tunnels.
Marie, great point about whole Winterfell. It's been said so many times already by few people that I know who said, yeah, Winterfell, like did winter fall or winter fell? Like, did it actually happen there, or did it actually lose the battle? Like, what happened in the past? And again, it must have gotten its name from somewhere, something. Again, history repeating. What are your thoughts on that? Like, kind of, this is kind of away from the trailer, but the battle and whatever's happening over there might have happened in the past. What are your thoughts on this? Has this already happened before? Is it just kind of like a rerun, rewatch, oldies? Let's do it
Oh, I
again.
think it's happened before in the first long night. I mean, you kind of get two tales from the World of Ice and Fire and Old Nan, and I kind of go with Old Nan when she says the dark came and then the dark fell and then came the others. I go with that, and that the dark fell first and then came the others, not the other way around. In the World of Ice and Fire, he kind of says that the others brought the darkness with them. I kind of go with Old Nan and think the darkness fell because the others don't like light. So I think they saw an opportune moment and
Okay.
came the first time, invaded the south because of that. But my old theory, I won't go into it now, it's too long-winded.
So interesting because we see the fog, or whatever it is, fog or frost kind of goes,
Mist.
mist. It's kind of, what was it? Was it the previous season where we saw White Walkers, or was it it's mixing up. It's like
Previous teaser, yep.
yeah, where we see what was it first? Was it the mist
The
or whatever
mist
it is, and then the dead?
going all over the north, yep. And then it's met by fire, and then up comes the obsidian wall.
No,
Obsidian suddenly made from volcanoes.
I don't. That's a good one. Check out Marie's video on that. But what I'm trying to say is, like, I'm not talking about the trailer. I'm talking about actually the previous season, was it, where we see, or what was it, where we see the giant and the big eye, like he's walking, and then that's all you can see is
Oh,
That was
Oh,
that
yeah.
was episode 1, season 7. That was like
Yeah.
the opening to season 7.
Okay. So that's kind of what it reminded me of. We can see that thing rolling towards them, and then I'm like, "Ooh, where's the dead?" Like, "Ooh," and there's like, "Oh, nothing, nothing dead."
Even with dragons and
Oh.
even with all the swords and things, because I can't see Gendry coming up with 100,000 weapons overnight, and I just don't think he's got enough time, and I think they will have to flee. I just got my doubts over some of them. Tormund, I think he's gone. So that's my theory for Tormund. Poor Tormund. It was foreshadowed in last seasons. I think they're going to get him. I've always predicted Jaime's going to die, so Jaime died. Sorry, Samurai.
Oh gosh, we're like death predictions right now.
I'm breaking hearts.
Breaking hearts.
So
That
I mean,
dungeon dream is a
we're
death
worried
dream.
about Gendry being able to forge 1,000 swords. I mean, Euron was able to come up with 1,000 ships pretty quick.
Oh my god!
I mean,
Magic, dragons.
and we know that Tobo Mont was the only one that knew how to rework Valyrian steel. I'm just gonna, maybe he's gonna have 20,000 Valyrian steel swords now.
Yep,
They have
it's
a dragon. They have
plot
food.
armor.
Yeah, I don't believe a word of that.
Basically everything. If you don't understand like dragons, magic, just deal with it. And for we need to, like, normally they give us here and then next point where we can actually safely jump logically, kind of, unless it's the teleporting stuff, which we still can do with support of others to understand it. But like the limited number of episodes, limited number of minutes per episode, they're gonna move fast. Like, I don't know if it was you, Ben, or Luke, who said that they're not gonna mess around, they're just gonna jump into it, like, boom. Or maybe you were Marie, like, yeah, your mother is this, like, this is the list, deal with it. Like,
Yeah.
go. Yeah, no time.
No, absolutely. Yeah, it's gonna. I'm calling first scene as the Night King first attack, south of the wall, and that's gonna be a cold open. We're gonna get that. I don't even think we're getting opening credits until after that attack goes.
They're not gonna do credits this season. They're just all
Yeah,
cold
just
episodes.
Cold open, all 90 minutes.
Too thematic.
And
that's gonna be opening credits right into the credits.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So a warning to everybody, not a warning, but like, imagine yourself, like, how you were dealing with I'm looking up because that's where my TV is. Not normally, I watch it from over there, so I don't get them anyway. Yeah, I talk a lot. So you and this is me after half a beer. Gosh, Lord help me.
Cheers.
Everybody near me.
Cheers.
Anyway, cheers. Exactly. Cheers. Darn it. By the way, what are you drinking, people?
Thank you. I was just about to say we're simul streaming, so we have to say what we're drinking.
Yeah.
Luke, go ahead.
I just pulled some the Bush beer out of
Bush.
the fridge. It was
Nice.
what was in the
S-
fridge. I
St.
didn't
Louis
buy it.
classic. I still have some of the honey brown extra rich ale or lager.
Corona, obviously, I couldn't do tequila or I'd be dead already, and I'll be being even more silly right now. I cannot afford it. So just Corona. Marie,
Oh, me, I don't drink. I got drunk once and that was enough. I was kissing spiders, so that was enough for me. I learnt my lesson.
That is something you can easily do in Australia. There's-
and let's
I've
just
never
mention
got
how
enough.
big are the spiders, Marie. Let's mention how big the spiders get over there.
They're as big as your
Big.
hand, as big as a man's hand.
Oh, yeah.
Really. That's just their legs and their bodies. Oh, and I'm out there kissing them. Oh my god.
Marie, I'm telling you, I love you, Marie, but you gave me nightmares after that beheading scene that played out in my head, and you gave me nightmares about spiders. So, spiders. Are we gonna see spiders?
If we
Oh,
don't,
yeah.
we have to get some ice spiders.
I was
Luke-
just
Luke
showing
just-
that. Yeah.
Yeah, he just had a thing up on his screen. Yeah, I mean, because they've been mentioned. They've been mentioned in the show of giant ice spiders. This isn't just a book thing. It was mentioned by Old Nan. They had snarks and grumpkins and giant ice spiders and all that. And
Spiders,
neat-
ice spiders as big as hounds.
yes, so it's like, come on, it's right there on Luke's screen.
So is that the only thing that did not like appear, or
We haven't
you
seen
were-
snarks or grumpkins technically,
Yeah.
and are really never given a description of what those would be
Mhm.
in the books at least.
True. Yeah, that
Uh,
would be nice to see.
uh,
No, I'm sorry. It would be nice. I'm terrified of spiders. I will kill a spider, but I'm terrified of it,
I've heard it.
and I will leave its dead body for others to see and not to cross me.
Murderer, you're a
Well,
murderer.
but I'm terrified of them. So anyway, so I give them quick death. I don't torture them much.
With hairspray.
So
See.
they don't get big. I
Yeah,
would be afraid to kill one side. The size. I would. Okay, if it would be the size of whatever Marie says, like this big. Yeah,
Huge,
I
yeah,
think
huge.
like here, spider versus Sam. Too much cleanup. Sorry. Okay, moving on. Mm.
I just wanted to put this out there. It's not from the trailer. It's just a thought I had. And I'd like to ask your opinion about something, and that's Craster's baby. And I thought there's got to be a reason, another reason why Sam, Gilly, and because Eamon warns them, go south. Get away from here, Gillyflower, and go south. There must be a reason why Craster's baby's there. And I saw a comment once where someone once said Craster made a deal with the others. And I thought about it, I'm thinking, no, he couldn't have because he doesn't speak their language. They speak a different language. Then I thought he's simply keeping the old ways. And I wondered, did every northern house at one time give a son to the others and they've just forgotten that they did it?
Wow. Wow, sacrifice. I have not thought
Hmm.
about that.
Mm.
Sacrifice.
Yeah,
I don't think John would say yes to it. John would be so opposed. But I think. Do you think
I
he
don't
would?
think it was that an old northern way that the others are used to, because I'm thinking he couldn't have spoken to them. He's just keeping the old ways of how they did things centuries ago, and he's not forgotten, and the North has. And did every northern family sacrifice a son to the others, give it over to the others?
What are you meaning by northern family? Are you talking wildlings north of the wall, or
North of
Nor-
the wall, all the Dustins, Boltons,
first men.
first?
first men,
first.
yeah.
Okay.
Maybe not the Mandleys, they came later.
Yeah, they're from the Reach.
Yeah.
Mm.
And isn't there
Numbers, Karstarks would be a branch off Stark. Yeah, there's
yeah,
there's a bunch of-
Mormonts are from Dorne, right? Or no, they're Andals. But,
no, they're first men.
are they?
I thought Jorah the Andal.
That is
Yeah,
a
is it-
misnomer in the books. That's why it's kind of ironic because the Mormonts are first men, and he just
Okay.
goes by it because they just know him as a Westerosi, and Andals is a bit of a
Cover
I like
all,
knowledge bombs.
a blanket.
yeah, it's a bit of a blanket statement. So it's even a misnomer, an ironic misnomer in the books.
Okay, that's fair.
But do you
Good.
think John would actually be able to sacrifice a baby?
I think John has to pay a price. I think John has to do something that goes against everything he believes in.
Mm.
And in the books, he swaps those babies. And Sam starts to turn against him. He
Hmm.
starts to criticize John. He sides with Gilly. He sides with the woman he loves. How could John do this? How could I made him who he is? I made him Lord Commander, and he did this terrible thing. So you can see a split happening between John and and Sam's friendship. And I just wonder, will they play that out, or will it just be a book thing?
What do you think?
I-
Will they make him do something more dramatic? Normally in a book they can write it out so it's dramatic, but in a show they have to make like a punchline, like boom, boom, tears, feels, and whatnot. Do you think they're gonna kind of mirror that sacrifice of the baby somehow?
And that one line between Stannis and what was it, Stannis? How much is one boy's life worth, or something? And
Yeah.
and Davos says everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's going to come into play.
It was very Thanos of him. How much did it cost you? Everything. Sorry. But actually, sorry, going back to the previous chat or discussion really quick, Candy Moore in the chat has a great line. The North has completely forgotten. And that could be what Marie was saying. The North remembers. We remember what we're supposed to do, but they don't. And so that just kind of made me pause and hesitate. It's like, that could be where that line comes from. We remember what our responsibilities are, and such as paying tribute to the others.
Yeah,
And
I
since
forget
nobody
where
does it anymore.
I forget where I heard that at. There was somewhere else that I heard that. Yeah, that was potentially that is what they've forgotten. You know, they always say the North remembers, but do they really know what they're supposed to remember? Like they remember, you know, the certain type of loyalty that only Northmen in the Northerners' mentalities seem to feel that they have, but there could be, you know, like Marie was pointing out, that yeah, maybe there was this ritual thing that was more than just old gods and not. It was more of a, we do this and we don't talk about it, but we remember to do it, and that hasn't happened. And Craster was the only one keeping that going. And yeah, the White Walkers were on the move before Craster stopped sending kiddos, but yeah, to me that's another one of the big questions is why did they start moving south now? You know, like at the beginning of season 1, like what was different at that point? And there's a lot of really cool, interesting theories about what had happened recently to cause that.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned they're just want, sit down by the fire. It's cold over there. There's nothing to do. Snow. But so or like reclaiming somebody, either be it it's I don't remember, maybe somebody made a video, but I don't remember like why they would be actually, when did they first start re-emerging, what was the initial point for that, like what is this all about, like who are they, because the mist, I'm assuming it represents the Night King or Night King. It's there for a reason. It's going in towards the Starks, and who is it after? Is it after 3 of them? Is it after one in particular? Maybe it whatever it is, came that far for something, and it's like right there, like their backs in a way are against the wall, against their dead wall, and it's like right there. So I wonder who it is going after. Is it John? I don't think it's Arya. That would, like, why would it go after Arya? Sansa? I don't think so. So it must be John. What do you think, like, about that? Like, why is why do we see, is it just an image that we see that fog over there, or is it actually there for a reason that it's actually pinning them against the wall?
My biggest fear is what Stacey said in our stream. I'm deadly opposed to it, and that Sansa's always wanted to be a queen, and the Night King needs a queen, and so she's going to be a queen of the dead. Sansa will be the new Night's Queen. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't agree with it. I would hate that.
I don't think I heard that before. Like, I've heard that before I heard Cersei, but I mean, they were standing on Sansa's side, like John and like I said, like
It's protecting her.
they're protecting her, like she's in the middle and they're protecting
Yeah.
her against something. But
I would hate that. I would hate that. I don't want that ending. No, don't want it.
yeah, I mean, I don't see the reasoning. I mean, it would be interesting because she wanted to be a queen.
Because she's a Stark. She's got the Stark blood.
But then why wouldn't it be Arya? Well, Arya has dark blood, and so yeah. Any thoughts, like, Luke and Ben, like who is that fog after? If you thought about that, or is it just an image, like a representation that it's kind of getting towards them, getting closer?
Yeah, personally, I don't think it's coming for one in particular because each one has different stuff coming after them. Technically, John has the Night's King army wanting to come after him. Sansa has all her enemies, including Cersei and everything like that. And Arya, yeah, she's kind of taking care of most of her enemies, but still, even though Jack Nagar let her go, who's to say that he won't later, sometime this season, try to finish off what was owed to him or owed to the many faced god or something like that. So they all have something coming for them, but they also all know the whites are all coming for them all, because they've been saying for 7 years now that
Mhm.
the war is not down south, the war is up north, the war is coming south. And so I think this is just a representation of it's all finally compiling on top of them.
Well, I think Osha says it. Rob is heading the wrong way. The King of the North should head north.
Yep.
Because that's where the real war is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I view the fog as really more going after Winterfell in general. I feel like it's going after all of the people that are associated with Winterfell as well. But I look at it as, hey, you're supposed to see that if it can even get to the crypts of Winterfell, and I think Maria kind of touched on this earlier, is if they're fighting him off, it's kind of a way to reduce the numbers, the hot gates of 300 at Thermopylae kind of idea, funnel them down a bit. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I think it's supposed to show that, yeah, I mean, it's even getting into the heart of Winterfell, and that's where it's supposed to get you in the gut of, man, it's going to get pretty stark or pretty dire. Sorry. But I think it's supposed to, elicit those kinds of, okay, this is going to be bad. Like it's getting into the stomach, into the guts of Winterfell, and that just cannot be good.
Speaking of kind of more of that's a question I had. I didn't think about, or I was thinking about it, but couldn't come up with an answer to my own question. Like we see inside over there, right? We only see, was it 3 statues? We have we hear Lyanna's voice talking to Ned, to the promise and whatnot. We have Kat talking to, who was she talking to? Was it the main
Sansa.
To Lisa. No, she was talking to Lisa.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's scene.
Okay,
Yeah.
Girl
Talisa.
from show.
Okay.
Well known as Girl from show.
Girl from the show. So it was Kat talking to Talisa, and then we have Ned
Mhm.
talking to John, right?
Yep.
So the only common thing that I noticed over there is something to do with I would say John. So Ned, his uncle, thought to be his father. Kat, his not mother at all. Lyanna, his mother, and then again Ned, when Lyanna was talking. So we have a lot of themes with John, everything John, and then the only thing that's kind of odd about it is the Talisa, but Talisa is the woman who married somebody who she wasn't supposed to marry. So
But
any
sorry, but think about what Kat was telling her. She's like,
Mhm.
I couldn't love a motherless child. She was talking about John to
About John.
Talisa.
Okay.
So I see your connection, and I didn't put them all together. But yeah,
Mhm.
so all 3 are referencing John.
John.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, like I said, and thank you for bringing up that part about John, that she was talking about John, about that baby. And all of them were talking about the. I'm not sure if you can hear the voices outside. That's my kids being my kids. Anyway, so
You mean they're
all of them
talking
were
a lot?
talking. Sorry,
I said you mean they're talking a lot loudly? Just teasing
they're
you.
like
I'm just teasing you.
either somebody's gonna burst in or something's gonna happen. All good. They're having fun. Nobody's screaming for the wrong reason. I know their screams,
For the
but
wrong
I
reason.
feel bad. I know the screams of my children in a good way. So we speaking of children, John, right? Liana, Ned talking about John. We have Kat to Lisa talking about John, and Ned talking to John about who John is. So all of this, it seems like everything is about John right now. Would that be a consensus here? Kind of like, I mean, obviously Arya and her arc and Sansa, but is this all about John right now? What do
I think so. I think that's
Yeah.
a safe assumption. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um, for the other stuff that I had here, I had again kind of again it was late and I was tired. My brain was not processing stuff, and I thought about the 3 heads of the dragon because there are 3 siblings. Nothing like that was mentioned over there. But there are three, and three is repeated multiple times, and we see the three Starks, well, kind of Starks, over there minus Bran. Would it have anything to do with like actual like a fight besides that? Do you think those three would have to die for Targaryen to be in power, or do you think that will ever happen? Meaning, right now, Daenerys, would she do anything to the three Starks? Would that be the death coming for them? Would it be? Are they in danger at all? Like when I said it, I think it made sense to me last night at least. Where that what is it, like dragon head? What was that whole quote about dragon has to have three heads or something, or whatever that
The
is?
dragon has 3 heads, yeah.
Yeah, but not have like, oh, 1, 2, 3. It's like 1, 2, 3. It has to have 3 heads for sacrifice of some sort. Do you think they would be in danger of being killed in order for Targaryen to gain power? Or would Dany go that far? And either muted or no comment.
No, I'm just thinking that I've never thought of it that way. See, to me, when I see the House of the Undying scene and Dany reaches for that throne and she doesn't touch it, and this was way back, a couple of years ago, I did this video myself, and that to me meant that I said in the video, she had already met Jon, and she will not usurp the throne. She hates usurpers. How many times does she say about usurpers? Robert was a usurper.
Mm-hmm.
And so, to me, in that vision, she had already met Jon. She knows who Jon is, and the throne is not hers, and that's why she moves away from it. So that's what I come up with in the House of the Undying thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, to me, I don't think Dany will sit the throne.
No, I don't either. I think the House of Undying with the snow covering the Iron Throne is obviously a reference to Jon taking his rightful spot. I've said for a few years now, just privately, that Jon is the Song of Ice and Fire. The whole show has been about him. And I think, yeah, as Elamar, you pointed out, this trailer kind of solidifies that. Now, if we get another one, I mean, we have 3 months to fill of all speculation and such. And I'm sure we'll get a Dany one. We'll probably get a Cersei one, very similar to these. But as of right now, they're telling us Jon is the key. So
yeah, I don't know
think
that
that's
we're
a
gonna
good
get.
possibility.
I don't know that we're gonna get a Cersei focused one or a Dany focused one. It seems like season 7 was the Cersei Dany Jon season, right? And
Yeah.
I really feel like season 8 is gonna be very winter is here. Like that's obviously a little on the nose, but it is the war at hand. I think that we're gonna get some more stuff from those characters in a true trailer. I don't know that we're gonna get a specific teaser trailer like this, where
That's
it's
fair.
a couple characters specifically in their element. We could. I mean, I'm all for it. I want it. I would be surprised if they do that. I want it, but we'll see.
So, like you said, we had what, 3 things, kind of like a couple second things, and all of them were Sansa. And each one had Sansa in it, or am I just making up stuff right now? Those couple seconds. That was the first one. If you can refresh my memory, what was the first one? It was just a couple seconds, right?
You're talking
Yeah.
The teasers.
Well, those were the cut in from the HBO. Hey, this is what's going on in Is that what you're talking about? Where like we had Sansa and Dan, like the last one just a couple weeks ago or last week was the Sansa and Danny, like the North is yours, your grace, or
But the one
Winterfell.
before that,
The one before
where
that was the
he had, like,
Dragonstone
2
table
seconds.
with the dragon on
Mhm.
it, shooting fire or ice on it
Actually,
all over. And
well, that one, I guess then there's more. Well, yeah, but like there was one where it was just Sansa hugging John and just
Yeah.
her
Oh,
look.
that's right. Yeah, the
Just
picture.
Yeah.
The one
her look.
picture, yep.
Like, ooh, she's looking at somebody. Like, there's so much behind that smile. It's
Mhm.
like a smile can hide so much stuff, like Mona Lisa. We were like, okay, what is she hiding? What is that expression on her face? Like, I don't know. Like, women, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
Those are
did
the
say a great
things that
meme. Oh, Sorry, I did see a great meme for the whole the Winterfell is yours, your grace, and Danny goes, "Thank you," and she looks over. I was talking to John, kind of just Winterfell's your yeah. It's like, all right, yeah. I would love something like that, just snarky Sansa kind of, because she's one of my favorite snarks.
She's mine too. I kind of thought I would have loved to. I would love to know how to do memes because I would love Danny to turn around and say to Grey Worm, "Grey Worm, bring me a forklift so I can slap her." Because there was a real eyeball going off, and Danny's so short, she'd have to jump to slap Sansa.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
But that was a good one. They're kind of eyeballing, and I know a lot of people making a big deal out of that. But trust me, when Sansa sees the undead army, she'll be glad that Danny's there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. With well, this is how do we have any clips for this one? Or are we kind of because I wanted to mention the other one just really quickly, but
I was gonna say, yeah, Luke, if you wanted to go one more screen, we got the date. That's a huge thing.
Yeah, I am really thankful for that.
Yes.
For planning things out. It's
Yes.
been very nice to have that finally resolved.
Because now we know we have 2 weeks to fill,
Yeah,
roughly.
we have 2 open weeks after finishing season 7.
Yeah. So.
and yeah, with the yeah. So I'm sure you're gonna come up with something awesome. And by the way, for those who don't know you here, who are here on my channel, who don't know you, let me drop a link, and you have to be there because all the cool kids hang out over at Drinks and Knows Things. Let me do that while you talk.
For some reason, the cool kids like us. We don't know why. I think it's just because it's funny to see us get drunk.
Which happens quite often.
Yeah, no, we test those waters. And I will, if you are on our channel and somehow you don't know who LMR is, I mean, get your head out of your ass. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I will drop that link and make sure you go over there and subscribe and like everything she's ever put out there because it is all wonderful.
Even the bad stuff, still like it right now.
Like the bad stuff too. Share the bad stuff extra.
Oh my gosh! Don't share my bad stuff. Is there bad stuff? Look, do I have? Oh, I gotta talk to you. I have bad stuff over there.
We gotta work on your OBS.
Yes, lesson 101. I'll be OBS in no time.
And you two are never allowed to stream together again alone because you break the fucking internet.
We literally broke YouTube. That is true.
I'm sorry. It was yeah, it was us. I'm sorry. I don't know what we did. I keep picking this up and not drinking it. Let me see. Cheers.
So there was another really good comment I saw in our chat from Shannon Thompson, and she had said right when she got here, I'm not seeing it right now, but basically she had said, aren't there other secrets than just Jon that we should be finding out in the crypts as well? What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I'm sorry.
Why is there a stuck?
If you can repeat it for me, because I'm sorry, I was reading something and my brain got stuck. And I only heard half of that.
So Shannon Thompson from the chat had brought in what I thought was a really cool point of, shouldn't there be more than just Jon's secrets in the Winterfell crypts that we could potentially be finding out? Do you think we're going to find anything else out cool, or is it going to be just used for Jon?
I want more. That would be cool if we discovered something we didn't even know that was there. That's a treat.
Mm-hmm.
Look for something and then boom, you got like other stuff. But what would it be?
I think the other secrets in the crypts are is it Bale the Bard or
Bale the Bard was
the singer in the tunnels. I think the secrets we're gonna find down there is how the people of Winterfell are going to escape. It's those tunnels are gonna help to save a lot. I think that's a huge secret that we're gonna find out down there because it's only been mentioned one time, I believe, and that was in the cave with Jon and Ygritte.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that I don't think that's gonna be a red herring. I think that's gonna be that's one of those breadcrumbs that will come to fruition.
What do you think about more swords being hidden there? Like the Valyrian steel ones, they don't rust or anything, right? Would that be like like they pop something open, like, ooh, more stuff, more sharp thingies? I mean, would it even make sense? Would even more swords do anything? I'm just wondering, like, if they discovered what would be valuable, like physical stuff in there. Somebody mentioned harp. Like,
I know.
wait, what else could beside like that they could actually use be there?
So all of the, again, getting back to a little bit more of book than show, the Kings of Winter statues should all have had iron swords along across their laps, and that's one of the reasons people know that Bran was there, because a few of the swords were missing. If you look at the Theon and Barbary Dustin chapter where they go down into the crypts, a few of the swords have been taken, and they're like the Kings of Winter wouldn't like not having their sword. And then she talks about Brandon Stark and how he always liked seeing his bloody sword and all these things. Really cool chapter, but I find the Kings of Winter very, very interesting. They're described to have eyes like ice, I know, very often, which seems very very White Walker-esque at times. Of course, down in the crypts, we know that there's a clutch of dragon eggs, so there should be an ice dragon somewhere potentially, and even Bran thought he saw a dragon over Winterfell at one point, but I digress. I don't think we're getting into the show, but I wish we would. Another really cool thing about the Crypts of Winterfell is that they seem to have started in the deepest part and have worked their ways up. Like the Lyanna statue and Brandon Stark aren't that far down. The further down you go, the more ancient the statues get, which kind of seems backwards. If you're starting from the ground level, you're kind of dig out, what you need, and then expand down as you need more and more. But that doesn't seem to really be the case. It's almost like they were naturally there, and that could come up with the hot springs that are around there. They could be dead weirwood tree root holes that have There's a lot going on with the crypts. I listen to everyone talk about them because it's one of my favorite things, and I really hope they do a lot more with the weirwood trees that should be kind of present down there, and the Kings of Winter. I find that stuff very fascinating.
Yeah, and the actual crypts were quite pretty over there. I mean, besides the fog and all, but the walls were up, nothing was crumbling. So it's it's a different image that I had. It looks better but less creepy. I thought when I had the image of the crypts, I thought of more what we saw before in this in episodes before, where it was kind of more dusty and not there's no the red was missing from over there, and here we see a lot of red with fire, and it's more like alive versus just like dead and quiet. It basically looks more alive right now than it did before. When who was it, Rickon or somebody was hiding there? It was like just like dead, nothing, silence, and right now it's basically alive.
Yeah, Rickon and Shaggy Dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, one other thing I just kind of noticed, as you guys were mentioning, all of them had dire wolves. All like Catelyn and Lyanna had her dire wolf. I believe at Ned had his. The children don't have theirs, which to me doesn't make sense. It's even though, yeah, Lady's dead. They, if they want to hold true, that's a touch I think that definitely, just personally, I think is a miss. I just realized it, but I think it's kind of a miss, or it could be meaning something. I don't know if I want to read too much into it, but everybody else has their dire wolf or their symbolic dire wolf with them, but these three had actual dire wolves, but we don't get them in statue form.
Mm. Yeah.
I don't know.
You mean like because it's just there again, it's a nice placement.
Oh
Kind
yeah.
of thinking about the statues, like they're in an arc, and then but they are three next to each other. Normally, aren't they like alone?
Hmm.
And there's like three. There's enough room for three. Like I don't know if they would fit more in there, but again, this is just a vision or whatever you call it, like a representation of something. But still, um, it's meant to signify something. It's not like three of them amongst other ones. Like there's a row of them, and there are three that they recognize. It's three of them at the end of the tunnel. Um, yeah, so basically nice visual, but also I'm sure there's meaning behind it.
Fight their way out.
Yeah, I mean there's nowhere to go, right? Maybe there's a go to the side somewhere, right, left, or I don't think there's up.
We know you can literally play hide and seek in them pretty well. I mean, that
Oh,
was
yeah, somebody
literally
mentioned
what
it.
Bran and Rickon did.
Yeah. I think somebody was mentioning it in one of the streams here that Arya was very good at that. Whoever mentioned it, but wasn't Bran good at it too? But or is it,
Arya was better because Bran would get scared, and
oh,
Arya was the one who realized it was Jon playing a trick on them, Jon and Robb together, and she punched him in the nose or something.
yeah. Arya being Arya. Nice. Do you have any more notes you wanted to add? Because I think I have maybe one thing that I wanted to mention. Marie, Ben, and Luke.
I've just got a question here from the chat. From Drogna, do you think there could be more dragon eggs in the crypts?
In the show, no.
No.
In the books,
No.
yes. I believe that there are.
No, I don't think there's any in there.
Why do you think no, Marie, and why do you think no for the show, Luke? And what's your answer, Ben?
Because I'm going from what Tyrion said in the show. Actually, dragons don't do well in captivity, and for that dragon to have to be down in the crypts for so long, it'd be small like a cat, just like they grew at the end of the Targaryen reign. So I just can't see there being a dragon at Winterfell.
Could they be hidden by somebody, like a stash of eggs?
I think
I don't
sooner or
know
later
why.
they would have seen the dragon flying somewhere. So I just can't see there being a dragon egg there, or maybe there's a dragon egg there, but no dragons.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
I
so
can see that. Yeah.
from A World of Ice and Fire, from the testimony of Mushroom, if you don't know Mushroom, a very, very interesting and usually pretty reliable narrator in the story, alleges that when Prince Jacaerys Valerion came to Winterfell at the start of the Dance of the Dragons, Vermax laid dragon eggs in the depths of the crypts where the hot springs are near the walls. Archmaester Gildane rejects the idea, and there have been many things that Gildane rejects that we know to be true. So he's kind of got a bad record of things, especially like this. It's very much Maester Luwin kind of putting down magical and mystical type things pretty regularly, even though we know them to be true. So I feel like Vermax was definitely there and would have found the hot springs, which would be comfortable, and especially if it opens up further down and he worms his way down, for lack of a better dragon term for you. That sure, and I say he. Dragons are known to switch genders, maybe not at will, but from time to time. So that's why I believe it is.
I can see a dragon egg. Yep.
And Ben, what are your thoughts about if they're he's like dragon eggs, maybe for like a breakfast or something, one big egg for the dark times.
I
Rainy
mean,
day.
yeah, as Luke said, show-wise, I don't think so. If we didn't find one of Dragonstone, they're consolidating down, so no. Book-wise, it's a good possibility, but that's above my pay grade for paying attention to this, to delving that deep, and so I'm gonna defer
Was that
to the experts.
deep in the crypts joke? Delving that deep into the crypts.
Oh yeah, no, not yet. So.
Yeah. There's a question here, and if anybody has a question, I know we're like talking about it was supposed to be about the trailer. We kind of touch upon other trailers and other stuff, but this is Game of Thrones. How can we contain ourselves? We are watching Game of Thrones, so we do have issues, right? Everybody has issues because we love this show. But there's a question here from Scripts, Flips, Series, and Flicks. Wow, mouthful. Awesome name. I love that name. It says here, and didn't Bran defeat the 13th Lord Commander? Anybody wants to take a stab at that?
Hasn't beaten him yet. Unless you're talking Bran the Builder, that's what you're.
I think he's going way back here.
Okay, he's not talking Bran.
I believe that was a former king of Winterfell, Brandon. I think, or maybe it's I think I don't 100% remember. I apologize.
Okay, I'm just because again, making sure
I'm
clear.
Again. Dang it!
I'll just make sure I'm clear on which brand we're talking about here.
There
So
many,
I mean,
there are many brands.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's possible that one brand beat him, originally another brand can beat him again, or another brand can become him. So
And
I don't know.
what does it mean beating? That how like I keep wondering like how do you beat somebody like that? Do you completely destroy them? It's like energy. You can just transfer it. You cannot. I think they're they're magical or something. How do you just kill it? Does it go somewhere? What does it mean to kill somebody? Is it like the whole thing about the Pirates of the Caribbean or whatever it was that there always has to be whatever that thing was. Once you kill it, you become it, or unless I got the movie wrong.
No, the Santa Claus effect,
Okay.
basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brand
But no,
break.
I mean, I know what you're going with the Pirates of the
Yeah.
Caribbean too. Once you take out whatever his name is, you
Yeah.
become the head of the Jolly Roger, that kind of thing. And yeah, that very well couldn't he and Scripts, Clips, Series, and Flicks is talking about Brand the Breaker. That's the one he was
Mhm.
referencing. So I mean, I look at it as the Harry Potter with the wands. You don't have to kill the person to get their energy. You just have to, yeah, like you said, destroy or defeat them in one way or another. So I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling on it. So
You don't want to get me started on wand lore. I'll leave that one alone. So, do we want to go into final season 8? Your big number 1 predictions?
Ooh, prediction. Yes, go ahead. People start, and I'll just
Marie, why don't you kick us off? What would be your number 1 big prediction for season 8?
That Jaime will die. Ari will take Jaime's face and kill Cersei.
Okay.
I like that.
Benji?
I like.
I'm still thinking of mine. Because I have plenty of tinfoil and
You got a
everything
lot
like
of
that.
bad ones. I know that.
I know. I'm gonna stick with. I'm going with. Sansa is the Queen of the North. She's the wardeness of the North. By the end, North will be separate under Sansa's rule, with Tyrion by her side or in her bed.
LMR?
I don't even know if this is something I came up with or not, because at this point I don't even know what's going on with theories that people have, because we have similar stuff. But what I think and hope, and that would be really, really neat, my point at least, is at the end of, or at some point in season 8, we see the Night King being Night King, Night's King, whatever. I know it's not whatever for me. To me, it's whatever, because I can't comprehend the difference at this point. The difference would be like end of the show, end of the season, we would see him being either defeated, cured, um, he would step down, basically he would end whatever he is right now, he would end. But then going into prequel, I would love to see how he actually began. Because we see the ending, we see this kind of like Star Wars. Star Wars, I had to throw that in. Why not? Kind of like different perspectives, different times, where we see all this whatever's happening, and then him being defeated, and then prequel would be how that all started. But prequel again, ending with how he became the Night King. So to tie it all together to make people interested. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for, to kind of make me want to watch more. To tie it in for me, like, oh, how did it all start? Like, I want to see. That'll be my thing. I want him to die, and I want him to die or released, and for it to be tragic, to get the feels and all that.
Heck yeah. So my big season 8 prediction is we've been following Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen for so long, and they're on paper the heroes that are gonna save us from the long night coming again. Bran is going to save the world. It's going to be something that Bran does specifically. You look at him as the cripple, the broken thing, and how much can he really affect? Yes, he has this information technology that he's got, but I think it's something that he's going to do that is going to end everything, or in a good way.
Good one.
Yeah.
That's why I was surprised that Bran wasn't there, because I think he's key.
I think he's everything. I think he's everything.
If you can expand on it just a little bit, what do you mean everything? Is he like, because he's in all times at the same time, all points of time, like he is just basically always?
I mean, I don't follow the Bran that we have is all of the Brans in history. He has connections and he can slightly change things, but we already know that the way his time travel can work, it doesn't change anything. It basically sets in motion things that were already going to happen, already happened, or like, there's only one timeline. It doesn't branch off. Doesn't branch off at all. And so everything that's ever happened that he's been able to affect, he's already also done that in the future. So it didn't make it. It's not that it made a difference, but it doesn't change any outcomes.
You mean he already did in the past?
Yes, and welcome to the new future past.
Sorry, I had to be the smartass.
Yeah, no, but I think, and plus, I think you could make a case that he is the prince that was promised. He fulfills a lot of the symbolism around those things, having the green seer abilities and the warg abilities, the skin changer abilities is kind of a special thing. It's almost like the lineage, the genetics worked out just right for it to get to him, and that's what Bloodraven knew, and I just think he's going to be a bigger deal than leaving him out of season 5 would lead us to believe. I'm still bitter.
Oh my gosh. We everybody's gonna need therapy after Game of Thrones for something like anger
That's
or
what
like
Gwendolyn
unresolved.
Christie said.
Yeah, it's like gonna be like after it all ends, we're gonna be like, I need help. I need filler in my life. There's no more theories. Because and again, this is again, I was having a chat at some point somewhere where it's like, okay, the event coming up or events coming up, the cons and whatever is happening, like it's gonna be already after. Well, at least the one um in July is gonna be after it. So all the
Yeah.
theories and whatnot, it's going to be different. I think the panels are going to be different because before it was just, oh, let's speculate on this, let's have a theory or hypothesis on that. Yeah, no, we're speculating unless you're speculating on the prequel. So interesting thought. I mean, that I just had about that.
So we have about 90 days until April 14th. What's everyone planning on their upcoming feeds? Elamar, you got plans? What are you up to?
Surviving life. I've been away because life is life and work is just basically 24/7. It seems like family work. So what I'm hoping to get back to is some Game of Thrones because that is Doctor Who is over. I cannot process any more Star Wars. Yeah, I'll just go there and vent. So I don't think I'm gonna. We'll see. And then I would love to continue doing some interviews when I have time. I have a couple people that I kind of already said yes to me. I just need to get them on schedule, find time. They have to find time, and we're gonna make this happen somehow. So probably that. I would love to do kind of like an impromptu. Impromptu stuff is amazing. It's like, okay, do you have time? I have time. Let's do it, and then we're doing it versus planning. So I'm hoping for maybe something like that between now and then, and then just preparing mentally for. I'm gonna have my snacks. I'm gonna have my stuff, and I'm gonna have a lot of fun when the thing airs. So yeah, that's I guess my plan. Very general plan. Surviving and having fun.
And I hope you do. I hope that works out for you.
Thank you. Hopeful survive.
I'm rooting for you.
Which one? I will. Thank you for wanting me to survive.
Yeah.
That's so very nice of you.
Marie, what do you got coming up in the works?
Well, I had planned on buying a new computer. I make plans, and God decides my stove blew up, so now I have to get a stove. So my computer's been shelved. But my plan really is to try and help the smaller little YouTube creators. That's what I want to try and do. So I put them into Geek Chat 1. Try and promote them because I think they do a great job. Revengeance, LMR, yourselves, so many other smaller little channels like mine. Sam Rowe does streams. Milt and the dog show. They do a great stream every Monday. Well, it's my Monday. It's probably your Sunday night. But to raise them up, raise their profiles a bit, I think. Support our community. That's what I want to do.
Benj, what do we got coming up?
Well, this week we are covering S08, season 6, episode 8. If you know the name of it, put it in the chat, or Luke, if you know it, say it. We have Phantom D Saint, formerly BBM, joining us as our special guest. We have a few guests in the works for season 7 right now. Wink, wink to somebody in the chat to hit me back.
It is episode no one.
Yeah.
So expect some Wafinator talk.
Yeah,
soon.
so we got that going on. We're doing weekly shows, either usually Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. So just hit the notification bell on our channel and follow us on Twitter. Sometimes we don't know until that day that we're going to be going, but usually we try to keep it in the.
Schedule it and then have to say, well, let's try again tomorrow.
Yeah, sometimes it happens, and that's fine. So it's just keep an eye out for that. Also on our other podcasts, we have Harry Potter and Floats Down Here. If you can find that at the podcastthat.com. Harry Potter is the Must Not Be Named, and Floats Down Here is a chapter by chapter read through of it. And as I said at the beginning, I have Citadel Trivia that I'll be hosting this Friday night at 7 p.m. Central. So if you want to come join for that, we'd be much welcome and love any new competitors and players. Luke, what do you got? Anything else?
Drinks and Knows Things, Floats Down Here. Check out all of our shows at thepodcastthat.com, including Harry Potter, the podcast that must not be named, and the vodcast that roles, plays, and games, where we do our live stream gaming, all sorts of stuff. Yeah, follow us on Twitter at No One Drink. Check us out here on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We truly, truly appreciate it. We've had a big bump lately, and if you are one of those, we truly appreciate you being here with us, and we're excited to do a lot more stuff. Rolling into season 8, hitting it hard. It's we've been doing a full rewatch for a little over a year now, weekly. So we're feeling it, but we are ready for season 8.
Yeah.
And again, just a reminder, I try to remind it that to whoever joins into your channel that you do have a first-time show watcher. For those who are new right now listening to this, and you do not do spoilers over their past whatever episode you do. That's very important. We want to keep Abby spoiler free. That's the fun about it. That's her reactions. That's the part of the entire thing. So go there, have fun, drink, know things, but don't say fast stuff fast either.
You only got 10 weeks.
Yeah.
10 weeks, and then she's fair game.
Exactly. That sounded so bad. But I also want to say thank you to Marie, because we do have a lot of creators here in both chats. I'm looking at both chats, and they're creators in both. So do consider clicking on the icon that you see, just like if you're scrolling through this, and clicking on their channel, because they do have content, a lot of good content, and we do hang out over there. And it's not just Game of Thrones. We actually do more than Game of Thrones. We actually do gaming. We do, well, I do with 3 people. I watch and like, more blood, kill him. He didn't die well enough. That was way too quick of a death. Do it better next time. So we do fun stuff. We do Star Wars, their streams. It's amazing family. So seriously, click away and join us over there. So now, since we're on two channels, outros are done. We say goodbye at some point and we hit the right button.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for joining us.
Cheers.
LMR, what's your sign off? Come on, we worked on it.
Oh my gosh! Okay, help me out, please.
What was it? You were supposed to remember it. It's your thing.
What was that thing? I remember mine. If you tell me yours. No, you tell me yours. I'll tell you mine. Is that how it goes?
Sure. Do you remember yours?
Do you remember yours?
Yeah, I say it every day on all of my podcasts. And as always, thanks for joining us. And as always, stay imaginary.
As always, winter is coming in. So am I.
Marie, you're on the spot. As always, what? What do you always, as always?
Bye, everyone.
As always, bye, everyone.
Marie
I love it.
Marie
I'm
is
sorry, I was
awesome
in the chat.
as always. Marie is awesome as your thing should be. I'm awesome as always. That's your thing. I'm addicted to streaming with you.
I'm known as the giggle queen.
You're the giggle queen.
As always, giggle on.
go on. Oh my gosh, it's even getting better. Thank you. See, look, that's Luke for you. He came to help me come up with mine, and he just helped Murray. Murray, do you remember it? We have to go back here and look what he just said. But I think I remember mine. Mine was, as always, I am living my Rhapsody, and you live yours.
Close
No,
enough.
do it seriously.
I
Close
think
enough.
that was close.
Something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We will see you again very, very soon in the chats and in another live stream soon. Take care.
Right.
Night.
Night.